are those of the guest hosts and callers, and not necessarily of this station, its management, or other advertisers.
This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action, and you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Ping.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
Welcome to Transformations with Tara Sutphen. Tara Sutphen is the author of Blame It on Your Past Lives, Soul Agreements, and The Abenda Chronicles. Grammy-nominated audios, videos, and MP3 series. You can find these MP3 series now at TaraInsight.com.
Welcome to Transformations with Tara. This is Tara Sutphen, and my guest today is Wayne Perry, and he is a sound healer, and he applies diagnostic and therapeutic principles of sound healing and subtle energy medicine to his practice as founder and director of the Sound Therapy Center of Los Angeles. Hey, welcome, Wayne.
Yeah, welcome. Good morning. Thank you.
Yeah. So I love it. I really love the concept of sound healing. I always think of Atlantis. Yeah. How did you get into it?
Well, that's a big question. I was actually doing a show similar to what you're doing on FM radio in Los Angeles, Heart Touch with Wayne Perry. I was actually producing and hosting 4 radio shows on FM radio. And my favorite kind of was Heart Touch because I was like a kid in a candy store interviewing, healers and shamans and people, I'd pre-interview them in my living room. And if they were really genuine, I could separate the wheat from the chaff. And the people that I thought had something insightful to share, I would have on the show. And this was years before Oprah, by the way. So it's like, I think the first one doing something like that, but it wasn't a big national station. It was just Los Angeles, basically. And then when I started traveling doing sound therapy, and I was certified in bioacoustics, which is the study of the frequencies that emanate from living organisms. The show was live, and I was starting to travel a lot on the weekends, and I couldn't stay with the radio show, so I took it to cable television where I could pre-record the shows in advance, and then I would hit the road and be a keynote speaker at health and wellness conferences or doing my workshops in different cities. But, it's changed a lot since then. I mean, that's 28 years ago. And right around this time, the spring of 1992 is when I started this. And people used to laugh. I mean, they didn't take sound healing seriously. I mean, the only clients I had were some seniors looking for some alternatives to allopathic medicine. And people would laugh saying, your sound or your recordings are going to help my arthritis or my tumor or something like that. And nobody took it seriously. So it was a real tough first few years until I got, speaking engagements at conferences, and I got interviewed on some major shows. CNN internationally actually did like a 15-20 minute feature on my work, and that was kind of a breakthrough. So, just a lot of media stuff that I did early on, started giving me some credibility along with my recordings that I put out and speaking engagements. So I gradually gained more acceptance, but it was kind of a long, hard road. So nowadays it's sort of like good news and bad news. The good news is a lot of people now understand that everything is energy, and that there's no such thing as solid matter. The new physics shows that everything is energy vibrating at, and a better word than solidity is density is a more appropriate word. And one of the universal principle underlying sound therapy is that the form and density of all matter is determined by its frequency. Everything has a frequency. And so that's what I do in my work. I, not so much with any living organism, although I do work with animals sometimes. I primarily work with human beings, and each person has their own unique signature frequency pattern that's unique to them. No two people are alike. I've even done identical twins, and they had different patterns, similar but different. And so for the first maybe 15 years of my practice, I just did that live, and wherever I was traveling to, I didn't do it over the phone or anything. I didn't trust the technology. But then over the years, I found I've got a really good Panasonic phone. So now I spend so much time doing diagnostic sound analysis over the phone, Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp, and people in Asia and Europe. And Europe, I'm up doing analysis 1, 2 in the morning because they're about 8 or 9 hours ahead of us. And with Asia and New Zealand and Australia, I'm up at like 4 and 5 in the morning because they're about 14 hours ahead of us. So my schedule has been getting crazy since I've been doing this via the telephone, but it's very, very important, and it's very accurate and very insightful. Plus, very inexpensive. It's probably the most efficacious healing alternative holistic healing modality, and probably the least expensive. So
Right.
keeps me busy.
Yeah. My class is all talking to each other, my Tuesday night class. But yeah, no, I agree. I love these alternative healing methods. I do. And I've been a firm believer that the sound healing was going to come back. When I started in metaphysics, I opened my store in 1982, Malibu Shaman. And I was always looking for anybody like you to be this, the sound healer. It was really, it was because I knew that it would become someday. It will become.
Like Edgar Cayce said in 1952, sound will be the medicine of the future.
Yes.
The future is now. So.
Yes. And I was best friends.
I was saying, there's good news and bad news. The good news is like people are starting to understand everything is energy, but the bad news, I don't know how it is in the rest of the country, but in California, it's like everybody's a sound healer now. They read a book or Google something or, read
Well, they do that with
and all
my
of a
work
sudden
too.
they're a sound healer. And there's this great proliferation of sound baths going on, which are very unhealthy. I don't recommend them. And I take a lot of flack from people because I tell it like it is. And sound baths can be dangerous because although the people conducting them are generally nice people, well-intentioned, I have some friends that do sound baths, and they're well-intentioned, but they're not sound therapists. They're not certified sound healers. And they don't understand if you give somebody a sound that they have an excess of in their brainwave pattern, it can exacerbate any physical or emotional illness or weakness and make it worse. So, that's why it's dangerous, especially if they use any electronics, at least acoustic instruments. When they're using bowls and gongs and tuning forks, it's not as unhealthy as anything electronic. I don't care what.
Yeah, electronic. Yeah.
432 or 528 or 440, any kind of electronics is going to be counterproductive to the system. But even acoustic instruments, they're not really healing. I've got research, 30 years of research that I used to study and hand out. Now I'm too busy to be disseminating research literature. But the point is, it's like if you're a sound therapist and how sound works, you need to know a person's frequency pattern before you start introducing sound to them. Otherwise, you can set them off balance or exacerbate a problem. The good thing about the human voice, which is what I work with exclusively, is the ultimate healing instrument, the human voice. And that's the title of my first CD. And I truly believe that, and it's been proven in research. There isn't any instrument that can compare with the healing power of the human voice. It doesn't even come close. Like musical instruments, if they're acoustic and a person's personal frequency pattern, you could use acoustic instruments. They have some value, but they're only about a third as effective as the human voice. And so why not eliminate the middleman? We've got the ultimate healing instrument sitting right under our noses. So that's what
Well, I believe it's the power. You trip the power of the mind. And that frequency that you carry personally that matches the sound of the planet. And I don't think it's the same for everyone. I think it's a vibration, a tone, a ring. But everyone has their own. So you're right. You do an octave for somebody and it doesn't really work for them. Although, maybe, music is healing to most people. Maybe they're catching some of the frequencies that they need to calm down.
Well, the problem with music, there's several problems with music and why it's not healing. First of all, the way it's recorded, all the music we hear on the radio, you're hearing corporate America and all digitization. It's all, people think they're hearing the sound of a saxophone or a human voice. It's not. It's a digital duplication, representation. There's no vibrational energy in it whatsoever. So it's like dead music. So yeah, and then the other reason that it's not healing is because you've got a potpourri and just in one musical chord, there's like 4 notes. And an average pop song, if you got 4 or 5 chords in it, 4 times 5 is 20. You have 20 note frequencies going on. So even if you get a couple that are good for you that you need, they're being canceled out by other frequencies that you may have an excess of or you don't need. So the combination of it being like a sonic stew and not isolated and directed, focused enough to really help any specificity in a person. And then the fact that the music is just digitized and all computer generated. Those are the 2 reasons why it's not healing. But with sound therapy, we cross those bridges. It's like I have all analog recorded downloads and recordings and albums that I've always recorded directly to tape with no sampling or electronic effects. A lot of it sounds electronic, but I tell people, and it says right on the album, every sound, the drums, the percussion, the chords, the bass, the horns, everything
is analog.
My voice.
Okay.
Just only done with my voice. So it's, once people dive into it and realize this isn't new age music, this isn't even music therapy. It's sound therapy, which is much more comprehensive and primal.
So where can they find it? What is the name of your website?
Well, it's just my name, Wayne Perry. So the website's wayneperry.com. And it's a very educational resource because about 2 years ago, I had my website updated. And so there's a blog page that is articles that I've written or have been written about me or my work over the years. There's testimonials, like hundreds of testimonials of people that have done my workshops around the world and private sessions. But more importantly, you can learn a lot. There's a video page where there's over 15 or 16 videos that you can view for free, and they range from like 30 minutes to an hour and a half, and you can learn a ton of stuff and it doesn't cost you anything. So I try to let people know, everybody's so busy, they don't like to always go to websites or peruse them properly, but it's all there. They can learn a ton of stuff on my website. There's a products page. They can order products and downloads, and there's a services page to book appointments for diagnostic or therapeutic sessions. And with this pandemic going on, I'm just amazed that there aren't thousands of people wanting to do the analysis by phone because you don't have to leave your house.
That's next week. After they hear this.
In Finland last week, she was a sound healer in Finland and plays saxophone in an orchestra in Finland. And she just heard about the sound analysis, brain voice analysis could be done by phone. She contacted me. I spent 90 minutes on the phone with her. She was tickled to death to learn her frequency. And then I just email her the chart. I make the person's chart by hand with colored pens. So, and an instructional sheet, it's kind of like a sonic prescription. And it tells exactly how many minutes to listen to some harmonics or a few minutes every day that uses brainwave entrainment to put sound back into your brain where it's weak or missing. And, we remember songs from our childhood. Once a song is entrained in the brainwave pattern, it's there permanently. We never forget it. People don't realize the power they have. Like you were mentioning earlier about people feeling healing from music. It's not the music that is the healing. It's the body has a tremendous healing system to heal itself if it's given a sound environment. And so if you have this, feel you had a healing from going to a sound bath, there's some person calling themselves a sound healer or even a piece of music, you should give yourself the credit, not the sound bath or the piece of music. It's your body's capacity and ability to heal itself if given the right environment. So if your intention is there and your heart is open and you have certain characteristics, your karma is right. I mean, there's a lot of factors that play into it, but the body can heal itself. And so that's another beautiful thing about sound therapy is it's a self-empowering modality that empowers you. You don't have to know music or sound or be a scientist or anything. Anybody can do it. Brainwave entrainment is very simple. Those songs stick in our head based upon repetition, nothing else. We didn't go to the park and sit down and say, well, the song that we like, the chorus goes up and the bridge goes down and the verse repeats. We didn't do any of that. The song stuck in our head because of repetitive listings. We heard it at least 3 or 4 times or more. And if we need something in the song, it'll stick in our head. If we don't need anything, it goes in one ear and out the other, which most songs, probably 8 or 9 out of 10 songs, go in one ear and out the other, because we don't need a particular frequency. But if there's something in a song that the brain needs, it gravitates towards what it needs. I mean, we have a perfect system. Spirit sets us up with a tremendous amount of subconscious power and intuition if we just get our junk out of the way, our fears and our ego and control issues and all that stuff out of the way, and just be in the moment. Sound will actually go where it's needed. You can learn to trust it, but you got to trust yourself first before you can trust sound. And
the repetitive, I find that I always tell all my clients to listen to my MP3 that I make them, or to my app. I own iHypnotherapy, to listen 60 to 90 times, because that's when it will embed into your brain, and it will be these suggestions that really help you to get your life back in order, your health back in shape.
Yeah, there's a lot of hypnotherapists that use my recordings.
I bet. I love it.
The Cosmic Choir. I mean, I've made some, to order for some people if they want to spend the money. Recording studios can get expensive, but I've done a few custom made for a couple of
the background,
and it's been great, But it's much easier and less expensive to just I license my one of my previous made recordings, and you don't have to incur any expense, studio expense or anything. You just a licensing fee, and that's it. And you can use the Cosmic Choir is probably my most popular one for induction.
Cosmic Choir. I'll have to remember that. I love it.
Yeah, and they're all available on my website. And because I used to do I was doing hypnotherapy before I did sound therapy. That's how I kind of indirectly fell into sound therapy. And then I immediately switched over from hypnotherapy to sound therapy because I got so impassioned about it. And
you have a great voice. You know, the radio voice, the knowing how to soothe someone, and then going into the sound part of it. It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it felt like a natural to me, and
very natural for you.
For 28 years, so.
Isn't that funny how we end up in our lives? Like I would never have thought that I would have been a hypnotherapist when I grew up, or a psychic. I'm a very well-renowned psychic. So, I would have never thought this for myself, but it's what is, and it's a great ride. So.
Yeah, I never saw myself as a healer. The last thing I would think of wanting to do is have a sign on my door with sick people coming to me for healing or something. That's like the furthest thing from my mind. But just oddly enough, doing a radio show, meeting the founder of Bioacoustics, becoming friends. Her invited me to the first practitioner training in California with 17 people in the class, and I was one of the 17. And most of the people just dropped it. It was too much or maybe too complicated for them. But I saw immediately, this is the future. This is the future. I mean, it just changed my life almost immediately. And then I went on to heal myself. I mean, I'm a walking testimonial of sound therapy. I've healed myself of lung disease, liver disease, kidney stones. The first major thing I healed was kidney stones. Just by accident. I was using my sound machine that I invested $4,000 in the beginning of my career. And and I'm dialing in my frequencies. I didn't get any relief at all from the pain until I started meditating and hearing some sounds behind me. And then I realized they weren't coming from behind me. They were coming from me, from my voice. And I was channeling harmonics. I didn't know what they were. And that had never happened to me before. But I was channeling these tones and sounds that were nothing like anything I sang as a singer in Chicago or anything. And then they'd stop for a few minutes and I'd keep meditating. And then the sounds started coming through again. This went on for about an hour and a half in my meditation. And then I got up to use the bathroom, and take a leak. And I'm standing there and I feel this twinge. And I actually passed the stone, the kidney stone, the first day immediately. And that, again, changed my life. I went to UCLA Medical Center the next day. And, I fished this little tiny stone out of the toilet with some tissue. And I saw my doctor, did an x-ray. He said, "Wayne, your stone is gone." And I said, "Yeah, I thought so." Here. And I give him this tissue paper with this little stone in.
That's what he wanted.
He sent it
for his day.
Sent it to a chemist, and they found it was a calcium oxalate stone, which most are calcium oxalate. Sometimes they're uric acid, but most of them are calcium oxalate. That's what mine was. And that kind of validated what I was doing. Then I started reading books on sound healing and toning and harmonics and all this stuff. And I realized what I was doing and creating with my voice were vocal harmonics or overtones, which is 2 and 3 tones simultaneously, which I could demonstrate for you if you like, because I categorize sounds in 3 categories. And I've done a lot of interviews, TV and radio. And when I do these, demonstrate these harmonics, it grabs people's attention. The phones like ring off the hook. I don't know. You probably don't have.
We don't have anybody call. We're not allowing callers right now. So go for it.
But I'll first usually when I demonstrate this live, like at a conference or something, I explain toning. Toning is simply using the human voice, to move energy, using primarily vowel sounds, but not limited to vowel sounds. That's all toning is. So technically, under that definition, we're toning every day when we moan, when we groan, when we sigh. And then the 2 biggies, laughing and crying, are the 2 biggest energy movers.
I'm laughing a lot.
You know how good it feels after a good laugh. Yeah. And even after a good cry. It might be sad or something, but we still feel better. We feel like we released emotions. And so a good laugh and a good cry are like the best examples of using the voice, for as a healing instrument, because the human voice is the only living instrument. All their instruments, musical instruments, are dead. That doesn't mean they can't make sound or harmonics, but they just lag way behind the human voice. And what I try to do is educate people, because there's a lot of fear around the human voice and around the 5th chakra. And so I try to help people relax and understand this isn't a singing contest or anything like this. Toning is not singing. It's just, as I said, using the voice to move energy. So, and you can send sound through the mouth or through the nose. Usually I send it through the mouth because it has more volume. But if I send it through my mouth, a single note or tone, it would sound basically like, ah. So that's just a single note of toning, ah. Now, if I send it through the nose, it's more muffled. It's not quite as loud and it's more muffled, but it has its own purpose. And that would sound, the same note would just sound, like humming, because my mouth is closed. But if I close the glottis, I could even do it with the mouth open, but the glottis is closed, so it still is muffled, like, as my glottis is closed. It doesn't matter if my mouth's open or not. So you learn to control your vocal apparatus, very simple thing. And then the secret to vocal harmonics or overtoning is creating more than one tone. So you've got that fundamental notes, and now I'll demonstrate the one note, and then I'll go between one note and 2 notes, and then back to 1 note and 2 notes, so you can hear the difference. And if you're sensitive, you'll feel the difference. When that second note kicks in, you'll feel a little goose in your body, a little energy burst. If you're sensitive, some people don't feel it. A lot of people do feel it, but we'll see what you experience. So I'll start the single tone through my nose. And then at the same time, while I'm doing the tone through my nose, I'll bring a second tone through my mouth. So the first tone is the fundamental in musical parlance, the fundamental note. And then the second one is the overtone or harmonic. So it sounds like this. So that's all there is to toning, and then overtoning. Single tone, two tones is overtoning. So could you feel a little boost of energy when that?
Yeah, it was great. I felt great.
Would you like to hear me do 3 or 4 tones simultaneously?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, this is what really moves the energy. This is what I do when I do a healing session or a vibrational alignment. So usually I start with a sound invocation. So we clear the energy field, and I have the person either on my healing sound table or in a chair sitting face to face, depending on the circumstances, what we're working on or whatever. But I start with this sound invocation, which I'll share with you and your listeners. I invoke and evoke the divine loving consciousness of the infinite spirit within, Father, Mother, God, infinite intelligence and divine love, as a clear and open channel with sound, light, and love as my guides. I ask that the sound of light now uplift us. May the light of sound direct and guide us. May the love of spirit now embrace and protect us. And may the sacred sound of our souls now resonate through us for the healing and harmony of all.
Thank you, Wayne.
Namaste. So it is.
Yeah, that was fabulous. Well, gosh, my whole body. So first, when my whole body just like resonated all of a sudden with the first sound, and then it went through my back, and then the third sound went through my heart, and then the fourth sound went down my legs, and it hit like the top of my head down my legs. And so it was like somehow bringing me back into vibrational alignment. And then as you did the fifth, I felt a grounding. And then the sixth, I was, it centered my stomach. And then the seventh, it brought my spine into alignment. So it was great. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's fun. I hope people who focused on receiving the sound. As I neglected to mention, some people, when they listen with their ears, they kind of stay on the left brain, and the brain is going like a computer, ticking off, judging and analyzing. Oh, I like that sound, or I don't like this. Oh, I like that. I don't like this. Oh, what is that sound? And they accept and reject, and the mind's working like a computer. So I usually tell people, just give yourself just 60 seconds, 90 seconds to just receive. Allow yourself to receive that you deserve to receive, and just be present, and just shut the mind off just for that little brief bit of time, because you deserve to receive, and listen with an inner listening, not just with your ear, but listen with the pores of your skin as if they're microphones picking up the sound through your pores. Listen to your gut, your stomach, like they say, listen to your intuition and your feelings and your body. And that's the way, I help people to really tune in to sound and sensitize themselves to kind of get past the blocking of the left brain and that kind of screening and filtering system. So it's not anything really difficult. There's just little things, little tweaks, and little principles to align with, and you can dramatically heal yourself and change your life. And especially now, when our immune systems are being challenged, there's no better way to strengthen your immune system than with sound. I mean, yeah, there's some other things that obviously viruses can't live in an alkaline environment. So drinking alkaline water, I have drops. I put alkaline water in my filtered water, and that keeps that alkaline. You can use a lemon and lime drops and put in your food. I shave a little frozen lemon on every meal that I eat. And then apple cider vinegar is another great thing that keeps your body really alkalized and clean. So, there's a number of things that you can do to just, viruses can't grow or develop in alkaline conditions. And I don't know why they don't educate the public instead of all these fear campaigns, just, scaring everybody out of their, or into their houses, or into wherever. It's, people should be conscious and aware and take care of themselves, but being in fear and panic, it just lowers your immune system.
Yes,
so the opposite to love isn't hate, it's fear. So just keep switching that channel. If you feel fear, you just choose the love, keep choosing the love, so it's a regular program, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, now I feel like I've had a massage. It's like really great. It's all throughout my back, Thank you, Wayne. Mm-hmm. Yeah, wonderful. So you have a whole line of these that does it specifically, like, say, is it overall healing? Do you have just like a non-stress one, MP3 that people can purchase? Or?
Well, I've got different I've got a dozen different recordings that originally are on CDs, but people don't buy CDs so much anymore. I mean, yesterday I had a lady that came up from Long Beach to work with me. Even with the virus and everything, she recognized the power of sound and didn't want to miss the opportunity before they got people mandated to stay in their houses or something. She drove up, last night from Long Beach, and she got the CDs, and I even sold the CD set. It's like 4 CDs that have all the frequencies and everything in a little instructional booklet. That's kind of like the Rolls Royce of the product. But in addition to that, I have 4, you can get them in downloads. You get the sound therapy tones and downloads. They're not talking or music. They're just harmonics. It took me 2 years to create them all analog in the recording studio so that they're pure in all the 12 frequencies, all the 12 notes in the musical scale. So there's like 3 on each CD. There's 4 CDs, and they have 3 tones. The first one has C, C sharp, and D. The next one has D sharp, D and E. It just has the all the frequencies covered in that set of CDs or downloads. Then I have 4 instructional recordings. That's that for people if they can't attend a workshop. I've got a 4 CD set. You can buy the individual CDs or the set of 4 at a $15 discount. And that has almost 6 hours of exercises and sound healing practices. So you can literally learn how to do it. It's very easy. And I demonstrate each exercise twice. And you can just pause your player, recorder, phone, or whatever you're using, and then practice it and then continue. So it's very easy. So I've got, the 4 therapeutic entrainment CDs for entraining the brainwave patterns. I've got the 4 instructional CDs, and then I've got 4 sound healing music CDs. A lot of people start with the music, or they hear the music and they know it's not new age music. They can feel the vibratory energy because it's all done with the voice. Even though it sounds electronic, if they listen closely, or if anybody tells them that all the drums and horns and bass, everything is done with the human voice, with my voice, it really opens their mind, and that what the voice can do. And so the 4 music CDs are all kind of different from each other. Like I mentioned, the Cosmic Choir is a good one for hypnotherapists and people that do inductions, meditation, yoga, because there's no real melodies or words or rhythms. It's kind of like a sonic tapestry in all 12 keys. That was my first music recording. Then the second one is very different. Enchantment has a lot of the tracks that I perform in concert in my sound healing concerts. It's got chants and songs with words and rhythms. And again, all the rhythms and everything is done vocally. So you think you're hearing drums and percussion, but it's really just my voice. So they're pretty entertaining. And so Enchantment, like I said, is more for strengthening the immune system, and has all the different 17 different pieces, chants or songs on it. Then the third CD is called Remember the Future. And that one started, I started writing in a hot tub in Tokyo, Japan, when I was doing workshops in Tokyo and Osaka. And I started writing this chant. And then I went to Egypt several months later. This was back in 1997. And I did a healing tour of the Valley of the Kings and the pyramids and the Nile cruise. It all ended in the King's Chamber of the Pyramid of Giza. We had my producer paid off the armed guards, and we had it overnight. You're only supposed to be in there 30 minutes. And I was in there doing healings on 65 people from different countries all night, from like 9 o'clock at night till about 6:30, 7 in the morning. I was clearing past life energy. And out of that experience in Egypt came my Remember the Future CD or album, which is all about healing the past relationships, past lives. It's all about, healing the past. As I did in the King's Chamber, I did pineal gland healings of all the people in there. And so that's was my third CD. And then the last CD I did with a lady, popular singer in Tokyo. In fact, she came to the Egypt trip too. She helped me connect the energy field. So I trained her in sound healing, and we did an album together because I wanted to do some Tantra music. And so the last CD I did is called Tantra Mantra, and it included this, it's the only one that has another voice besides mine, because I wanted to incorporate the female voice so it covers a wider range of frequencies. So, but it's maybe the least accessible. It doesn't have songs or tracks. It's one long 68-minute piece that, sort of like an inner journey to put on headphones or take an inner journey with the tantric music. And so those are the 4 music CDs. Like I said, they're all uniquely different, and there's a little description of what each one does therapeutically on a flyer that I have. But actually, my most popular product and known product is my book, Sound Medicine, because my book, Sound Medicine, is the only book I'm aware of on the market that, again, teaches you sound healing. When I had my healing experience releasing the kidney stones 28 years ago, I looked to read books about sound healing, and there wasn't that many. There was a few by Don Campbell, Jonathan Goldman, Kay Gardner, and they were knowledgeable. They're informative, interesting books, but none of them taught you anything, how to do it. And I'm a doer. I like to learn. How do I do it? And so after I researched them, and I had Jonathan on my radio show. I had Kay on my radio, both the radio and my TV show back in the day. And then I just developed, my own techniques and recorded recording the secrets to vocal overtoning. It has 20 exercises like what I just demonstrated. I was incorporating about a dozen of the 20 exercises just in that little demonstration. But there's a few other ones that I, probably left out, which is kind of a spontaneous emission there. But in any event, that's, it's all available for people if they don't want to come to workshops, especially now with this pandemic. I do online videos every Saturday at 6 p.m. on my Facebook page, the Sound Therapy Center of Los Angeles. I do a video every Saturday at 6 p.m. informing people. We're on Series 5 this Saturday. Actually, it's tomorrow already.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Okay,
Anyway,
so you're at 6 o'clock tomorrow on your Facebook page.
On the Facebook
So
page.
it's your Facebook, your open page. Yeah. So
Well, I've actually got 4 different pages on Facebook. My timeline, of course, is Wayne Perry. That's where I post stuff on my timeline. My business page is the Sound Therapy Center of Los Angeles. And that's the page that I post the videos, and initial posts go there. And then I post them on the news feed. And then I have 2 other pages. One is the Sound Healers Training Workshops. That's the page where I put out information about my workshops. The next one in Los Angeles is coming up May 30th and 31st. If everybody isn't imprisoned or whatever by then, or mandated to confined to the moon or something, well, you never know what's around the next corner.
You can always do it online if
Well, that's my plans for the future. I'm going to be doing online stuff. But the May 30th and 31st in Los Angeles is the next workshop, and I'm offering $100 discount for people that register, this week. It actually expired yesterday, but I'm extending the discount for an extra week for, people that get
and how much is
letter, or for just people that are on the show.
People are going to want to come in.
Yeah.
So how much is it now?
Well, the workshop, it's a weekend intensive. It's like from 10 in the morning till 7 in the evening. It's all day Saturday, the 30th, and all day Sunday, the 31st. And so the workshop is $395 for the weekend intensive, and you get a certificate of completion too. There's a certificate that comes with it and something. But you get $100 discount if they register now this week or whenever on my website. You can register on my website, or you can call me. My phone number and my email are on the website. It's very simple. Email is my name, just like the website is wayneperry.com. My email is wayne@wayneperry.com. So it's very simple. It can email me to make an appointment if you want to make an appointment for a diagnostic sound analysis, which everybody should be doing right now to understand your personal frequency pattern, so you can just really bone up with sound therapy, healing with specificity to the specific areas of a specific person. Really everybody should be doing that. It's very, it not only includes the diagnostic, I include a toning lesson in there and a consultation, the chart, the sonic prescription. I mean, it's a whole 90-minute session where, all you need to do is do that diagnostic analysis, get your chart, your personalized chart and instructional sheet, and then you get a few downloads and you're good to go. You don't have to spend hundreds of dollars on drugs or thousands of dollars on sound machines or equipment, or, it's very simple and very inexpensive. So, I encourage people to check out the website for free, the videos, the articles, the reviews, whatever. And, either call me on the phone number is on every page of the website, the email, wayne@wayneperry.com. And I try to be accessible. A lot of people don't even put their email or phone numbers on their website. I had to take my address off there because people come over without an appointment.
Yeah, they show up.
But the phone number, phone number and email address.
Phone number, it's usually, it's answered by my assistant. But so what is your phone number?
It's 323-656-6337. Again, 323-656-6337. And it's on the bottom of every page on my website. And there's a lot of pages to check out.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. What a great healing modality. I mean, and at this time, we just need to, relax and come back into who we are. And we're giving you a chance to rest a little bit. Whereas that's what, I'm looking at it as for everyone, to rest and not to get too mired into what's all happening, because I think that's a no-no for everybody. We don't really know what's happening. There is a couple cases of the flu, but everybody can beat it, especially if you use sound healing. You can come to me for hypnotherapy. Let's boost this immune system, everybody. Everybody's going to be fine.
Yeah, just create an alkaline system. Use sound therapy and alkaline, like I said, apple cider vinegar, oregano oil, lemon, lime. Another trick I learned recently too is, the viruses can't survive in heat over 133 degrees. So all you have to do is take a hair dryer. Do you know about this trick? You can put a hair dryer and blow the air, put it on low, and blow the hot air into the nose, nostrils, because that's where viruses congregate, in the throat and the sinus areas and the oral cavity, throat cavity, and nasal cavities. That's where they go. That's where they grow. So if you use a hair dryer for about 5 minutes, you can put your fingers over the back of it just to kind of adjust the air a little bit. And then you can also use a spray bottle if your mouth and your sinuses get too dry. You can just spray them. But the heat, it kills any viruses. Can't survive under heat over 133 degrees. So there's a lot of little tips like that that are really useful. You can just prevent yourself from getting the virus if people would just pay attention and stay in the love and out of the fear, and be smart.
Yeah. Stay in the love. Everybody stay in the love. That's the number one thing for sure. Yeah. I mean, I saw like that photo this morning of that older woman, and she, had that she was bent over and there was nothing on the shelves. And I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. So if you know somebody who needs some help, of course, offer some help. It's not to be like frozen in fear. That's for sure. Yeah, I know. People are funny. I was getting refrigerator dog food yesterday, and because Bentley's, I always make him food and I give him a little of the refrigerated type food. And a woman was saying, oh, that her dog only eats that. So I was like, here, my dog eats regular people food. So here you go. Yeah, I mean, you just have to, I'm definitely not going to be in the fear zone of any of it. Yeah, but yeah. So what else do you recommend for everybody as far as like the tonal healing? Like what is the number one MP3 that you have that you would suggest?
Well, what do you mean by MP3?
Oh, your recordings.
My downloads or whatever?
Your downloads.
Well, like I said, the most powerful ones are the sound therapy tones, because those are, like I said, it took me 2 years to record them, and there's all 12 frequencies, notes in the musical scale, 3 on each CD. So there's 4 CDs with 3 tones each for a total of 12. Or if you get the individual downloads, you can just individually download any or all of the 12. So that's the most powerful thing, but it's not for entertainment. It's just the harmonics, like I was demonstrating, but without the fancy tricks. It's just like, ooh, it's just extended like that. And it's overdubbed. I overdubbed my voice about a dozen times, so it covers any pauses for breathing. So it's staggered, so it's a wall of sound. You don't hear me stopping to breathe. So that's why it took a long time to record, to get the optimal harmonics, splicing tape together. I mean, without
right. You probably are splicing tape.
It was a really, lengthy and painstakingly, patiently doing an analog experience, but the result was very, powerful sounds, the optimal harmonics that I could create. It would edit out anything that isn't perfect, and got them in all 12 notes. So that's the most powerful thing, but it's not music, it's not talking, so it's not going to engage people's interest unless they understand a little bit about sound therapy and brainwave entrainment and know that it's listening for just a few minutes every day. It'll put it back in the brainwave pattern. But the beautiful thing about that is we're all busy people. Nobody wants to have 30 minutes or 60 minutes of homework to do every day. How are they gonna fit that in? They wind up throwing the baby out with the bathwater and not doing anything, And so that's why I try to be gentle with people. And, you have to do something. You have to take some responsibility for raising your frequency and strengthening your vibration and your health. But it doesn't have to be a chore. So in the brainwave entrainment, putting those tones back in the brain, you can do while you're on the computer. All you have to hear, your ears are free. So you don't have to stop what you're doing. That's the beautiful thing about it, because people's attention spans, as I'm sure you know, are so short these days. They don't have the attention span or the patience to stick with something. But with sound therapy, you can have your tones playing. Once you get a sound analysis, that's the most important thing. Once you got your sound analysis, we got your whole frequency pattern mapped out, exactly where you're strong, where you're weak, what to tweak, what not to. You got everything you need, except maybe for some downloads or, material, so you know what to do. But other than that, you're good to go.
Great. Yeah, I want everybody to be able to find you, wayneperry.com and WAYNEPERRY. It's there on the screen, wayneperry.com. And, you can make an appointment, find your personal,
Keep in mind, they can do it by phone from anywhere in the world. Like I do these people in Europe and Asia, in all hours of the night through Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp. And it's free and it's pretty good quality. And, I didn't used to do this on the phone, but some few years ago, I got a good Panasonic phone and microphone that works perfect in reproducing the voice, so I can chart out the accurate frequency. See, people don't understand it. They think, well, how's he going to do analysis over the phone? It must, be, they don't know what it is or how it works. So that's why I try to do as many interviews, and I post streaming videos on Facebook and YouTube to try to educate people that this is such a powerful and empowering, I should say, thing for you to do. It's very inexpensive. In fact, I should mention the price. It's the 90-minute session. It's only $185, a one-time charge of $185, and on a few downloads, you're getting thousands of dollars worth of
and your frequency.
Health support. Yeah, and you learn your frequency, and it also includes a consultation, a toning lesson, the chart, includes a lot in that 90 minutes, and it goes pretty fast. People have fun. They tell me they enjoy it. It's kind of interesting and fun, and the time flies pretty fast. And then you're empowered to do it for yourself. Most people like that. I mean, some people want you to do it for them, and there's always going to be people like that. But it's not that difficult to do. It just takes a little discipline.
We're going into the new moon on March 24th, and tomorrow's 21st. It's our spring equinox, so we're going to gain
what?
Here. Yeah, we're going to gain some light, and our new moon coming in the 24th is at 10 degrees Pisces, and so it's all about coming back into our spiritual center, and and just thinking about our health and thinking about what we want in our life and the changes that we want to make. That's certainly part of all that. And
you must be a fire sign.
Me?
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
I don't know. I just got this vibe while you were talking about reference to astrology. I just felt the fire. My moon is in Sagittarius, so a lot of times I spark with Sagittarius and
5 planets in Sagittarius. Yes.
Yeah, 5 planets in Sagittarius.
Yeah. Sun, moon, Venus, Mercury, and Saturn. Hey, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming, seeing Wayne. Fabulous. Thank you, Wayne, for being on the show.
Well,
Blessings,
thank
everybody.
you.